allocated a total of 20 million Kenya shillings for municipalities' startup budget of setting up key structures and systems in place. Mr. Speaker, we have proposed to allocate a total of 994.8 million Kenya shillings to the Turkana County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned earlier, the governor's 9-point agenda envisions a prosperous Turkana County. This budget, Mr. Speaker, has been aligned to those priorities, programs, and activities geared towards the socio-economic realization of the 9-point agenda. Mr. Speaker, the priorities of the 9-point agenda are cutting across all activities of each county departments, and they have therefore been considered in these budget proposals within the spending of the implementing county departments. Generally, I have allocated substantial resources for the attainment of the governor's 9-point agenda. Mr. Speaker, at this point, allow me to delve into the specific programs and activities that will be implemented for the realization of the 9-point agenda. Water as a universal right agenda. Mr. Speaker, water is considered a universal right not only in Kenya but globally. Article 43 of the Constitution states that each person has the right to clean and safe water in adequate quantities, and that the government is required to take measures to ensure that this right is enjoyed by all. Mr. Speaker, as a county, we acknowledge the obligation to ensure that water sources are protected, conserved, managed in a sustainable way for the benefit of the present and future generations. It is our governor's goal that all Turkana residents have access to this vital resource. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 207 million Kenya shillings for the drilling and equipping of more county-wide boreholes and establishment of water supplies infrastructure across the county to improve water sufficiency levels. We have allocated 35 million for the construction and expansion of Songot water pan and construction of Lomelo multi-purpose dam to control floods, as well as ensuring water availability to support irrigated agriculture and livestock development. We have planned to purchase 2 reverse osmosis plants at 40.4 million Kenya shillings for water purification, treatment, and cooling using solar. We have allocated 26.4 million for geophysical and real-time survey equipment. We have allocated 31 million Kenya shillings to promote improvement of water supply and solarization of boreholes. We have also allocated 10 million to facilitate purchase of water storage and collapsible tanks as an emergency intervention during droughts. We have allocated a further 43.1 million for the operationalization of the water fund. Mr. Speaker, on food security, agenda number 2. Food is a basic human need and should therefore be available in one way or the other. A significant portion of our population rely on agriculture and livestock for their livelihoods. Therefore, ensuring access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food is crucial for the well-being and development of the county. In recognition of the need to ensuring food is readily available, His Excellency the Governor has placed great emphasis on addressing the challenges that have continuously hindered crop production, livestock development, and optimal exploitation of fisheries and blue economy. We have allocated resources for the implementation of various initiatives and policies at improving agricultural productivity, enhancing irrigation systems, promoting sustainable farming practices, and supporting diversification of crops and livestock. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 130 million Kenya shillings for construction of model drip irrigation schemes at Lokomarinyang in Kibish, Kangali, Kangitulai in Kale. We have also allocated funds for the spec irrigation schemes at Kachoda, Nakitongo, Lorokon, and Naremito. We have also allocated funds for the rehabilitation and protection of irrigation schemes at Naoros, Hoputiro, Elelea, Loborot, Manalomuria, Kotaruk, and Lokipoto. Mr. Speaker, on crop production, I have set aside a total of 918 million shillings, including conditional grants from our development partners. This allocation will go a long way in the provision of high-quality, disease-free, drought-resistant, and high-yielding seed varieties, of which 10 million of 10 million. Kenya shillings 12.8 million for fertilizer program have also been set aside. Another 10 million for equipping of agriculture and mechanization station. 15 million for equipping of Nautin Agriculture Center. With the support of 863.5 million conditional grants from our development partners, we aim at introducing mechanized agriculture practices in areas that have traditionally been used for crop production to maximize yields as well as reduce labor-related costs. Mr. Speaker, we further endeavor to increase pests and disease control surveillance and to intensify crop production along our major rivers of Takwel and Kerio. Mr. Speaker, livestock keeping is a major economic mainstay of Turkana residents. Nomadic pastoralists constitute a bigger proportion of the population compared to agro-pastoralists, fisher folks, and urban dwellers combined. Livestock development is a critical sector that deserves requisite protection and deliberate productivity improvement to enhance socio-economic status of the community. In this budget, Mr. Speaker, I have allocated 30 million shillings for livestock feeds, 10.4 million for restocking. We have allocated 25.3 million for the development and construction of areas at Loktam, Nakurio, Lubei, Kalemunyang, and renovation of Kalengoro Selia. We have allocated 12 million for the completion of Katiko Ranch in Kalpata. To ensure proper storage of veterinary vaccines, we have allocated 18 million shillings for the construction of cold chains at Kokuro and Kakuma. To ensure adequate procurement of veterinary supplies, we have allocated 30 million shillings. And to improve veterinary services laboratory diagnosis and analysis, we have allocated 5 million to operationalize county veterinary laboratory. We have allocated 6 million for rehabilitation and construction of Lodwa and Kakuma slaughterhouses. We have also allocated 22.5 million to incentivize community disease reporters to enhance livestock disease control through disease surveillance and reporting, mass vaccination and treatment. Mr. Speaker, our county is privileged to have Lake Turkana, the largest permanent desert lake by physical size, with sufficient levels of fish stock comprising at least 48 species, supporting livelihoods of over 250,000 people directly and indirectly. I have allocated 70 million shillings to fisheries and blue economy sector interventions, which includes developing appropriate infrastructure along fish market value chains to reduce fish post-harvest losses while maximizing market benefits, improving the effort through the provision of advanced fishing gears and establishment of fish processing plant. We have allocated 15 million shillings for the construction of an ice making and storage plant at Kerio for fish preservation. We have earmarked 18.4 million for fish processing plant at Kalokol. We have also allocated 20 million shillings for purchase of fishing gears for Lower Arena fisher folk. Mr. Speaker, Our region is prone to sporadic and recurrent conflicts arising from various factors, including competition over scarce resources, ethnic tensions, and proliferation of small arms. These conflicts have had a detrimental impact on the lives and livelihoods of our community. We would like to address this through a concerted effort by the county government, national government, community leaders, and the various stakeholders. As a county, Mr. Speaker, we have invested 186 million Kenya shillings towards peace building and conflict management initiatives that include peace dialogues, supporting the national government in disarmament programs, promotion of community-led reconciliation processes, advertising joint ventures towards water plants and boreholes. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated funds for construction of new peace resettlement schemes at Nadapan in Lokichogio, Lopi in Lohori Kochodi, Nikengoi in Katile, Kolok in Katilu, and at Marakalo in Lobei Kotoro. We have also allocated funds for renovation of peace resettlement schemes at Nadome in Lobokat and Lubum in Kaptiri wards. We have also set aside funds for the plastering of peace resettlement schemes at Kaakulit, Kaapedo, Lodwat, Muruengor, and Liwan. We strongly believe that successful implementation of these peace initiatives will create an environment where individuals and communities can thrive without fear of violence or insecurity. On health services and sanitation, Mr. Speaker, Turkana County would like to take primary health care system approach to secure accessible, affordable, cost-effective, quality, equitable, comprehensive, integrated, and people-centered health services to its residents. This is informed by the existing evidence indicating that health systems built around strong PHC deliver better health outcomes, and also 90% of all health needs can be met at the primary health care level. We are committing and allocating resources towards this agenda for the following initiatives. To reduce medical referrals outside the county, expanding existing infrastructure to meet the existing health needs, upgrading 2 facilities to level 3, increasing the number of community units, and supporting more community health workers to enhance provision of health care at the lowest level. If we successfully implement this, we will reduce mortalities that occur due to conditions that could be prevented or treated with access to simple, affordable interventions at level 1, 2, and 3 of the healthcare systems. Mr. Speaker, specifically, under this health agenda, we are planning to construct 20 new dispensaries at a cost of 200.4 million Kenya shillings. Also, renovate 4 health facilities and complete 8 dispensaries at a cost of 48.1 million shillings. Also, construction of drugstores at Lokori, Kakuma, Lorugum sub-county hospitals at a cost of 34 million shillings. Purchase of equipment worth 50 million is also factored. Construct an emergency unit at Lokichar sub-county hospital at a cost of 15 million, and a psychiatric unit at Lorugum sub-county hospital at a cost of 15 million. We have allocated a total of 149 million shillings to support initial stages leading to the multi-year construction of the Turkana Level 6 hospital. We have allocated 300 million for the uninterrupted medical supply of the year. Mr. Speaker, to support Lodwar County and referral hospital operations and infrastructure development, we have allocated 209.5 million. We have also allocated 134.5 million for preventive and promotive healthcare services, and a further 49.5 million for medical services, which includes funds for universal healthcare to cater for NHIF costs of Kenya shillings 9 million. Mr. Speaker, The entire country is facing a monumental challenge of alcoholism, substance and drug abuse. This has caught the attention of the leadership of this country. As we are aware, the Deputy President has given strict directives to the government agencies to crack down on the sale and perpetrators of illicit brews. As a government, we have allocated 10 million shillings to facilitate liquor licensing and eradicate sale of unconventional liquor. On education and child protection, Mr. Speaker, as mentioned earlier, the county aims at providing basic education geared towards holistic development of child's capability. We would like to promote a system of social inclusivity. In this budget, Mr. Speaker, we are committing resources to revitalizing education and child protection through establishment and equipping of new ECD schools, enhancing Turkana Education and Skills Development Fund, provision of school feeding program, supporting VTC and TVETs, and running of rescue and rehabilitation centers. Mr. Speaker, our allocation to the Turkana Education and Skills Development Fund is on a record high of 534 million Kenya shillings, which will increase the number of students benefiting from this kitty and reduce dropouts brought about by lack of fees. We are also planning to construct 32 new model early childhood development education centers at a cost of 223 million Kenya shillings. Enhance retention at ECDs by allocating 100 million Kenya shillings to school feeding programs. Construct a library at a cost of 40 million. Construct education assessment resource center of 10 million. Equipping of rescue centers at Lodwa and Kakuma at a cost of 10 million. Improvement of vocational training colleges, infrastructure and facilities at a cost of 20 million. Improvement of number of sports facilities across the county at a cost of 20 million. On lands, minerals and natural resources management, Mr. Speaker, as a county, we are blessed with abundant natural resources, including vast stretches of potentially fertile land, precious minerals, and diverse ecosystem. Such endowments, if exploited wisely, will play a vital role in the development and prosperity of our community. We have proposed to allocate resources for the implementation of the following initiatives touching on land, minerals, and natural resources. Fast-tracking phased titling of land ownership. Implementation of climate-adapted strategies. Enhancing greening Turkana initiatives. Carrying out mechanical control of Prosopis juliflora. Beefing up of policies towards charcoal burning, sand harvesting, and mining activities. Mr. Speaker, let me point out that the long-awaited titling of our land will add value to our land, and we shall subsequently show up our own source revenues. Mr. Speaker, in this budget, we have allocated a total of 65.7 million to county spatial plan, 4.6 million to land governance, 14.8 million to land and property valuation services, 48.3 million to land registration, 7 million to sustainable exploitation of mineral resources, 27.1 million to forest development and governance. Mr. Speaker, to mitigate the effects of climate change, we have allocated a total of 132.5 million, including 120 million as matching fund to attract FLOCA from the World Bank. On trade, industries, and enterprise development, Mr. Speaker, by promoting trade, we can tap into our unique resources and leverage on our strategic location to enhance economic activities. The establishment of small-scale industries facilitate value addition and creation of diverse employment opportunities. Enterprise development initiatives empower individuals to become self-reliant and contribute to the overall economic growth of the county. I have allocated resources towards modernizing market infrastructure, promotion of cross-border trade, strengthening market cooperatives, and establishment of MSMEs industrial park. The highlighted initiatives are instrumental in fostering economic prosperity, job creation, and improving the standard of our population. Mr. Speaker, we are planning to construct markets at Kibich, Nadapal, Kainuka, Pedo, and Katiga at a cost of 75 million shillings. We have also committed resources for repairing renovation of 12 existing markets at a cost of 49 million. We will construct business kiosks at 6 major towns at a cost of 23.9 million. Mr. Speaker, we will establish a one-stop industrial park flagship project at Kakwanya at a cost of 200 million Kenya shillings. Once this project is completed, Mr. Speaker, it will not only create job opportunities for our people, but it will contribute to increasing our own source revenue. On wealth creation, Mr. Speaker, we seek to expand our county revenue generation through innovative financial resource mobilization, revitalizing tourism sector, optimizing value addition, and investing in green technologies to power county operations and installations. We have allocated 38.3 million for tourism promotion and development, Turkana Cultural Annual Festival, 29 million for promotion of culture and peace. And promotion of green energy technologies, we have allocated 84.5 million shillings to power government installation and business. To enhance local revenue, we have allocated 52 million to completion of Lokiriama Revenue Center, which will harness revenue from cross-border peace and trading activities. We have also allocated 37.5 million for the strengthening of revenue systems and infrastructure. Finally, on the 9-point agenda on collaboration and strategic partnership, Mr. Speaker, we recognize the synergy that comes with strategic partnerships and collaborations. We have endeavored to collaborate with various stakeholders such as other government agencies, private sector entities, non-profit organizations, and international bodies to pool resources, expertise, and diverse perspectives and develop innovative solutions that drive sustainable development. We have allocated 12 million shillings to facilitate collaboration and partnerships initiative. We believe that by working together, we will promote inclusivity, avoid duplication of projects, and address complex challenges that transcend geographical, political, and socio-economic boundaries. We have also allocated 14 million to facilitate intergovernmental relations engagements. On county revenue basket, Mr. Speaker, the total revenue envelope for the financial year 2023-2024 is estimated to be 14.5 billion Kenya shillings. This includes equitable share of almost 13.1 billion from the national government, conditional grants from the national government, donors, and development partners at the tune of 1.198 billion. And as a county, we are projected to raise 200 million as revenue from our own internal revenue sources. Mr. Speaker, because of resource scarcity, the government cannot deliver on its mandate alone. There are various programs being funded by the national government, our development partners, and donors to supplement the government efforts in enhancing delivery to our people. In the financial year 2023-2024 estimates, the county government is expected to receive the following conditional grants. Conditional grant for an industrial park of 100 million shillings. Conditional grant for fertilizer subsidy, 12.8 million. Mineral royalties, 141,279 as unconditional allocation. Conditional grant for primary health care in devolved contexts, 19.2 million. conditional grant for financing locally led climate action program, county climate institutional support grant, 11 million, conditional grant for the National Agriculture and Rural Inclusive Growth Project, NARIC, 150 million, conditional grant for the Agriculture Sector Development Support Program, 3.8 million. Conditional grant for Drought Resilience Program in Northern Kenya, 465 million. Conditional grant for the Locust Response Project, 220 million. Conditional grant for de-risking and value enhancement program, 215.1 million. Mr. Speaker, the revenue generated from local sources is expected to be 200 million shillings. Among the key revenue streams I've proposed for raising on-source revenue are single business permit, royalties, cess, market fees, slaughter stock auction fees, advertisements, parking fees, transport operation fees, liquor licensing, land survey fees, house rent from government houses, weights and measures, health cost sharing, and miscellaneous receipts. Mr. Speaker, it is imperative to note that we haven't fully realized our own source revenue potential. We are continuously and frantically scanning for new on-source revenue frontiers to show up our revenues. Mr. Speaker, single business permits are essential in regularizing businesses in the county. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, I propose that all businesses be subjected to payment of single business in order to operate their business in the county. Mr. Speaker, market fees will be collected from market stalls and fish businesses. The county government will be rendering such services as training, business promotions, business financing, and incubation and trade research and policy to our businesses. Mr. Speaker, I propose cess on transport services, charcoal businesses, firewood, hides and skins, handicraft, mirror, and exhauster services. Mr. Speaker, health cost sharing is split between the client seeking medical care and health facilities to reduce the healthcare costs in the primary health care. Public health certificates are offered on building plans and inspection of food and food premises. I propose to levy health services which will be used in health facilities, improvement and strengthening of the community units. Mr. Speaker, I propose a levy on land surveys and building approvals. This will ensure planning of our towns is done within the designated areas to avoid congestion and control erecting of buildings on unsuitable areas. Mr. Speaker, construction activities within our county are on the rise. Such growth has an effect on the environmental degradation in terms of sinkholes left during the mining of the construction inputs. I'm proposing that we continue levying the royalties for the monies to be used for environmental conservation. Mr. Speaker, Lodo Municipality through the Kenya Urban Support Program, KUSP, has developed modern parking lots within Lodo Town. We have started collecting parking fees from motorists who utilize these facilities. I propose that we continue to levy parking fees in order to expand the areas on parking lots. Mr. Speaker, I propose to charge transport operation fees for taxis, lorries, matatus, buses, and border border to improve transport facilities and safety regulations. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, let me point out that the considerations that were undertaken in the development of this budget is mostly anchored within the governor's 9-point agenda. I'm confident that the plans and targets we have laid out in this budget will be achieved and propel Turkana County to greater heights of growth, prosperity, and well-being. Mr. Speaker, Turkana County government will require all of us, including this Honorable House to deliver for the delivery of the services to the residents of Turkana. Let us join hands under our county motto, Pamoja Tujijenge. In the same vein, Mr. Speaker, it is worthy to note that our governor has remained steadfast in the attainment of functional and sustainable partnerships geared towards livelihood resilience and peace building. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, I sincerely thank His Excellency Governor Jeremiah Ekamais Lomurukai Napotikan for his leadership, commitment, continued support, and guidance in resource allocation and stewardship. I also thank my fellow the various accounting officers and staff for their tireless effort and contributions to the financial year 2023-2024 budget making process. Mr. Speaker, finally, let me recognize the following persons and entities for their wise counsel, guidance, and support that went into budget making process. First, to the Honorable Speaker of this Honorable House, the majority and minority leaders, as well as other House leaders and respective clerks and the approval of financial year 2023-2024 budget estimates and other related documents. Second, I would like to thank the honorable members of Turkana County Assembly for the collaborative efforts on representation, legislation, and oversight. Efforts that cannot be taken for granted. I want to be particular in acknowledging the contributions of the Committee on Budget and Appropriations led by the Honorable Patrick Napley, the Committee on Finance, Planning and Trade led by the Honorable Michael Eoi, and other departmental committees as well as staff of County Assembly Budget Office and Legislative Services for the long hours in drafting this budget and participating in all consultative forums with both the executive and members of the public. Third, I recognize the tireless commitment and effort from the Economic Planning Department staff led by the Chief Officer, Mr. John Korikel Ayaman, for ensuring this budget meets all the legal requirements and is delivered on time. Fourth, I thank the national government. The national government agencies, our development partners, and the donors for their continued support in mobilizing resources to fund these proposals. Fifth, most importantly, I present our sincere gratitude to the residents of this county and the private sector for their resilience and continued support and cooperation that has allowed us to deliver on our mandate. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I remain indebted to my family for their prayers, encouragement, and understanding as I continue discharging my duties and responsibilities at Finance and Economic Planning docket. I thank you all and may God bless Turkana County. Mr. Speaker, before I sit, in line with Section 132 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, I submit to this Honorable House the following documents and I request that you receive them. 1. The Turkana County Financial Year 2023-2024 Budget Statement, and 2. The Turkana County Finance Bill 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. You may have a seat. Thank you very much. The County Executive Committee member in charge of Finance and Economic Planning for the pronouncement on the budget policy highlights and revenue raising measures for the Turkana County government for the financial year 2023-2024. Clerk, next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
The Honorable Leader of Majority, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to lay on the table of this House the budget statement highlighting the budget policy and revenue-raising measures for fiscal year 2023-2024.
You may lay. Thank you, Leader of Majority. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, question time.
Next order.
Order number 9, procedural motion.
Yes, Honorable Stephen Edukone Kamais, the Leader of Majority. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move following procedural motion that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 35-3B of County Assembly of Turkana, County Standing Orders, this House resolves to extend its sitting day to Thursday, 22nd June 2023 at 2:30 p.m. Mr. Speaker, according to the County Assembly programming, we do not have the sitting in the afternoon in those hours that have been mentioned at 2:30 p.m. But because we have a very critical assignment of approving this budget, that is why we want to extend sitting hours so that we can accomplish the pending business. So, Speaker, we cannot be able to rob the business of discussing the budget estimates at this point in time, because the public have to consume, first of all, the highlights of this budget as read by the CEC for Finance. So
the Honorable Leader of Majority, I just want to interrupt you a little bit. Honorable members, now that the County Executive Committee member in charge of Finance and Economic Planning has done with the pronouncements of the budget highlights and revenue raising measures, we can allow him and his team to leave the chamber as we proceed with the rest of the business. So, Mr. Sisi, you are free so that we can proceed with the rest of the business of the House. Thank you. The leader of majority may now proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was saying, Mr. Speaker, because we have a very critical assignment of accomplishing the pending business, that is why we want to have an extension of time so that we have a sitting in the afternoon. Now that we discuss this business at this time, we want to give the public the opportunity to consume the budget's highlights at this time, at this point in time, so that at least the public have some hours to digest what is contained in this budget. So that is why we would wish that we have an extension of time in the afternoon so that we ventilate in the contents of this budget. So, Speaker, with those few remarks, I would wish to call upon the honorable member representing the great people of Capello and Payton to second this procedural motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The honorable member representing Capello and Payton would proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is indeed true that our people of Turkana County need to go through what the CEC member thread, so that they can have